Hello my dear friends, I am Prashant Mahwani here and I warmly welcome all of you to StudyIQ. Today we are going to analyze news from 2nd and 3rd March, and this is my Facebook page here. You can follow me, you can contact me, as well as you can download PDF of my lectures from my Facebook page. Dear friends, do you know that StudyIQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams? On your screen you can see we cover UPSC CSE, that is Civil Service Examination courses, static ones, history, geography, international relations, and science and technology, and much more, economics as well. We have covered UPSC optional courses. You find MCQ test series and much more on our portal, that is studyiq.com. so make sure you check it out. Just in case if you have any question or queries, then feel free to ask us on this numbers, or you can also use the chat support that is available on our portal. With this, identify the person that you can see on your screen. Give me the name of this person. With this, let me throw some light on the last picture. It was of Mallikarjun Kharge, and one of the reasons why he was in news is because of Lokpal. Now Lokpal, you know, a big thing, a big demand was there back in 2011. This whole movement was started by Anna Hazare, Kejriwal, and Kiran Bedi, and that era was a big wave of this anti-corruption thing, and because of that we got a new law in the land back in 2013 called Lokpal and Lokayukt Act. But sadly, it's been nearly 5 years we have not appointed a Lokpal yet. And one of the main hurdles that we find in appointing a Lokpal is this selection committee. In this selection committee, you have Prime Minister, you have CJI. I'm just being, you can say this discussion that we are doing is as per your, means I have kept in mind your necessity, like your understanding, right? So you have CJI. I'm not going into too much details here. You can of course read it, but I'll just tell you that when I say CJI, then there is technically, if Chief Justice of India wants, then he or she can appoint a Supreme Court judge, a senior or any Supreme Court judge, and that Supreme Court judge can become part of this selection committee if CJI is not taking part here. So this small technical details I'm not covering here. I'm just giving you a big picture. So you have Prime Minister, you have CJI or this Supreme Court judge, you have Speaker of Lok Sabha, and you have this leader of opposition as well. Now this is the main bone of contention, because a leader of opposition, for that you need to have a specific amount of seats. If you are in opposition party, say for example, at present Congress is not having that much strength in Lok Sabha, so at present we don't have any leader of opposition in the House. Technical definition, as per this technical definition, we don't have any, but you can have instead leader of the largest party in opposition, right? But for selection of Lokpal you need leader of opposition. Now in other cases the government of India did a little bit of change. Rather than following this strict norms of LOP, they have followed this LOLPO, a leader of largest party in opposition. That is of course Congress. It has got some 44 seats in Lok Sabha. But when it comes to Lokpal, the government has not made any changes. So Supreme Court is not happy about it, of course, and we need a Lokpal, right? The powers bestowed on Lokpal by this act, a Lokpal can even conduct an corruption inquiry against a Prime Minister or Council of Minister or any senior level civil servant. So we need Lokpal, but let's wait and watch, because at present the government has offered this special invitee category to Mallikarjun Kharge, and Congress is not happy about it. We know that the second half of this budget session is going to start in near future. We have got just a couple of days to go, so let's see. We will get some more updates on this thing in this second half of budget session. So I hope this topic is clear, because I have a strong feeling that you may find a question on this thing. You never know, right? The best thing that we can do is prepare for all important topics. With this first item that we have is coming from Ministry of External Affairs, and very important news item here. Rosatom is Russia's atomic energy agency, and together with the help of this Rosatom here in India, we are collaborating with Rosatom with this Kudamkulam nuclear power plant as well. We know that this whole Kudamkulam setup was done with the help of Russian technology. At present, it is the latest, one of the latest in the world nuclear power plant, and together Russia and India, now we are jointly working in partnership with each other to develop this Rooppur nuclear power plant in Bangladesh. So this is, you can say, for the first time we are witnessing this thing, that Indo-Russia deal is moving ahead, and we are going to together develop this power plant in Bangladesh, of course for civil purpose, just for the production of electricity. We are not dealing with bombs or anything here. And you find this type of terminology is critical. Now when you find critical, a word critical associated with a nuclear power plant, then keep this thing in mind, that when a power plant, this nuclear power plant, when it starts producing electricity, then it is termed that that particular power plant has reached critical stage. So non-critical, you have other technicalities here, but it is not associated with this power production. So we will work with this construction and installation works and things like that. So of course we are going to learn new things. This is going to be a new learning curve for our country, and this is the first but not the last. You can say with this we are entering into a new domain. This is the first time an Indian companies will be able to participate in nuclear power project abroad. So in this way as well, this is a unique thing. And now we will find scientists and experts from all these three countries, Bangladesh, India and Russia. Together they will come on this discussion table. They will discuss things and they will work out how they are going to implement this whole work. Vietnamese president is here in India. He arrived directly at Bodh Gaya in Bihar, and this indicates this is a cultural signal, you can say, right? We know ASEAN countries, they have a strong relationship with our country in terms of culture because of Buddhism. On 26th January, ASEAN leaders were here in India, and of course Vietnam is part of this ASEAN group. Bilateral relationship between Vietnam and India is very strong. We have many things to discuss today, no doubt, but let me throw some light on this background thing. Back in 2017, in the last portion or last phase of 2017, Prime Minister was in Manila, that is in Philippines, and at that point of time we had this ASEAN India discussion, and Vietnam at that point of time as well. Both these leaders interacted with each other, and here you see him coming here for 3 days. He's accompanied by his wife, and he has got 40-member delegation as well, official delegation. And this is how this type of bilateral relationships or this type of bilateral visits takes place. Prime Minister, when Prime Minister visits any country, say for example Narendra Modi, if he visits, say for example UAE, then he won't be alone. He will be accompanied by important people with him, right? It could be officials, it could be diplomats, it could be business leaders, you know. So this is how diplomacy works. Vietnamese president is going to interact with our Ramnath Kovind ji. He's going to meet Narendra Modi ji and other leaders as well. Now India and Vietnam together, as you know that today we are taking 2nd and 3rd March together, and very soon we will reach 5th and 6th, because 4th is a Sunday. So I will try to cover this 4th bit as well in terms of Vietnam, because I believe we will find some updates in the 4th March PIB. So I will cover it, don't worry about it. So from 5th we will have one more joint lecture of 5th and 6th, and from 7th you will get individual lectures as you used to get it before. So things will be back to normal. We have covered this big gap that was there. So India and Vietnam are going to work together for open and prosperous Indo-Pacific region. Now, why we are talking about open and prosperous Indo-Pacific region? You might have noticed this thing, that Indo-Pacific is a word that you find quite often in news nowadays. Earlier on, it was referred as, or most of the time, it was this Asia-Pacific region that used to be in news, but now Indo-Pacific, because of things that are going on in Indian Ocean. You know, China. Our defense minister said this thing earlier on, that external powers are playing here in Indian Ocean. When she's talking about external powers or external parties, is of course referring to China, because China is a country that is building or constructing this dual purpose ports in Maldives, as well as in, not exactly in, yes, in Maldives as well, but Gwadar and Djibouti for sure, definitely. Recently there was in a news that China is going to set up this ocean observatory in Maldives, and with the help of this observation facility, it will keep an eye on the trade that is going on, or the ships traveling back and forth in Indian Ocean. So this sort of activities are definitely not appreciated by our country. When it comes to Pacific Ocean and Indian Ocean, South China Sea is a very important, you can say it is a very important cog in this big machine. You have Indian Ocean here, then you enter Strait of Malacca. The reason why I have not provided a map to you, because I'm sure regular listeners, you are well aware about South China Sea. We have talked about it many a times. So this map should be there in your head, right? It should be very clear in your head where exactly Strait of Malacca is, and Indian Ocean, and then you enter here, and then you enter the South China Sea region, and from here you are connected with Pacific Ocean. So all the trade or all these ships that are traveling from Indian Ocean to Pacific Ocean, they have to pass this South China Sea. And when it comes to South China Sea, you have this 9-dash line claim of China, and clashes are going on between Vietnam and China. You have Philippines and China. I must mention here that the way China is playing here in Indian Ocean, we are counterbalancing it by developing good relationship with countries that are sharing its border with South China Sea. So it's not that only China is creating pressure on us. For China as well, presence of India, and you can say increasing presence of India, is a matter of worry too. So this is how it works, right? If you twist my arm, then I will twist your arm. If you scratch my back, then I will scratch your back. This is how diplomacy works. So this is how counterbalancing takes place. They have talked about international, both these countries, right? Talked about respecting sovereignty and respecting international law because of UNCLOS. Now, do let me know what is the full form of UNCLOS. I want to see how many of you are aware about it, because we have talked about this thing as well, and your prelims are coming. So I want you guys to be prepared for all this sort of terminologies and things, right? So UNCLOS, do give me a full form. I want to see, regular listeners, whether you are doing your proper revision or not. With this, together we have decided that we are going to work in energy cooperation, because in South China Sea you have natural resources like oil and gas, and our ONGC's foreign branch, or you can say foreign company that deals with this oil and gas and exploration in foreign land and foreign waters, it is known as OVL, ONGC Videsh Limited, will collaborate with Vietnamese company, and we will explore if we can find oil and gas here in South China Sea. So in this way, we are going to develop our energy cooperation. Then you have maritime security, of course, for Indo-Pacific region. Defense, we have supplied missiles. Particular missile, we have supplied it to Vietnam. Couple of days ago, in a special video lecture, I asked this question. I don't remember whether it was a special video lecture or PIB, but I did ask you a question regarding it. It was a Barak missile, right? Now tell me, who has produced Barak missile with India? Which country is our partner when it comes to Barak missile? We have given it to Vietnam. This one, yes, Barak missile, we have given it to Vietnam. Now, so you have this Vietnam played important role under Act East policy, and when it comes to bilateral trade, one thing that I'm not, I don't know why when I'm speaking to you right now, I feel a little bit of doubt. It was Brahmos or Barak, I can't remember. Drop that question right as I'm speaking to you right now. I'm not that clear. Things will be clear in a minute. It will settle down. But let me focus on this thing. We'll talk about it later on. So Vietnam has played important role under Act East policy. Bilateral trade between both the nations are doing quite well. Even during this global slowdown, our business, or you can say bilateral trade, was thriving and flourishing. From $6 billion, we have clocked $10 billion, which is not bad at all. Now, Prime Minister also talked about this 2,000-year-old relationship. You know, when we talk about 2,000-old relationship with ASEAN countries, then Buddhism is something that we cannot ignore at all. This is our soft power. And these countries, these ASEAN countries, they have huge respect for India because of Buddhism. And this is one of the reasons why Vietnamese president has directly landed here in Bihar, Bodh, Gaya. Nuclear energy partnership, agriculture and trade, and we discussed cyber security as well. Now, when we are engaging with a country and when we are moving ahead or doing something in terms of cyber security, then for our IT professionals as well, this is a new market. You know, the problems that we are facing with H-1B visa in USA. So we can have a new market in Vietnam, and cybersecurity is something that is a challenge for every country now. And you will observe this thing that nowadays we are engaging with different countries, right? We are engaging with different countries in terms of cybersecurity, and that's basically everything about Vietnam. Now, I have a very interesting country here for you guys. The sad thing is the news that are coming from this country is not that good. 30 people have died because of this fire, and this country is called Azerbaijan. Its capital is Baku, and the reason why I have taken this thing on board is because many a times you find this sort of countries as well. This is a very rare country that you find in Indian news, but here you go. This is Azerbaijan in front of you. This is Caspian Sea. Remember when Hassan Rouhani, the president of Iran, was here in India? At that point of time, I displayed, or I introduced you with this, you all with this Caspian Sea. You know that drill out oil and gas from this Caspian Sea, Iran, and so does this Azerbaijan as well. Here is its capital, Baku, and they have many offshore oil rigs from which they suck out this oil from this Caspian Sea. You find a mountain range here, then you have these important rivers. The delta, or you can say the mouth of this river, is here. This river is known as Kura River, and its mouth is here in Caspian Sea. Important countries surrounding Azerbaijan, you have Russia, Georgia, Armenia, Iran. These are the countries that are sharing border with Azerbaijan. So keep these details in mind, and then you have this lesser Caucasus mountains, and here you have the bigger version. The more heighty ones are here, and you have one more country that is again a very rare to find in Indian news, and this country is called Burkina Faso. Again, for very sad reason, there was a sort of assault took place nearby French embassy, French cultural center, and the country's military headquarters. French president has warned all its French nationals that they should follow this advice coming from the embassy and stay away from this trouble area. Here you go. This is a map of Burkina Faso. So you have two countries to look today, and I would reckon all of you to spend out at least 5 minutes on Burkina Faso as well as on this Azerbaijan. Open up your atlas. If you have some other maps, other versions, do locate other countries as well. Here I will give you a sort of basic guidelines what you should pay attention to. You have Mali here, you have Niger. These are the countries, right? Benin and Togo and Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and you have of course this Mali is already, I said Mali. Burkina Faso is here. It has got a river called Sirba. Ouagadougou is the capital. A very strange name for us, right? It is not a very familiar name, but anyways, this is its capital here, and you have this red Volta and white Volta and black Volta. These are the different colors or name of this rivers and associated with colors. So that's everything. You find a bit of desert portion here, because if you know, this portion here is part of Sahara Desert. And now moving on to the Ministry of Defense. Again, a good news. After two bad news, I have a good news for all of us, and this is associated with INSV Tarini. You know, it's like a celebration for us. Particularly, I am very much attached with this INSV Tarini because I know this challenge, right? I have gone through the interview of Abhilash Tomi, who is the first person from our country, again a naval officer. He was the one who circumnavigated this whole earth all by himself. And here we have a team of brave girls of our country, brave daughters of our country, and they have reached this Cape Town. I have provided you updates regarding this journey, this Navika Sagar Parikrama, from the day they left Goa, and when they were in Australia, then later on in New Zealand. I provided you this map of Drake Passage as well. Remember Falkland Islands, and there was a question regarding Falkland, whether it is part of UK or whether it is part of Argentina. The right answer is of course UK. And then you have this Cape Town. So they have reached here. They are here in Cape Town, and one of the main message that they are trying to spread, or awareness that they are trying to create, is that woman, right, a girl can do everything that a boy or a man can do, and that is very right as well. So hats off to their bravery. And this is of course the first one, but this is not the last one, right? We are going to see many brave girls. They are going to follow this path of Navika Sagar Parikrama. Prime Minister shared his views on this northeastern states, and you know, these results are out. BJP has done a little bit well here in Tripura and not in other states. But anyways, we are not here to talk about BJP or Congress or any particular left party or right party. Here he talked about northeastern state. He said that in Vastu Shastra, you know, how northeast direction is paid attention to in the same way when it comes to this country, our country India. Northeastern state or northeast region plays a very important role, and until and unless this region is not developed, if this region is lagging behind, then we cannot claim ourselves that we are a developed country. Nowadays things are going very well. You know, this Act East policy is predominantly based on this northeastern state, and from here we are trying to create a connectivity, right? From here we are building roads, and then we have this Kaladan project as well. From West Bengal we are going to reach this Myanmar, and from Myanmar we are going to supply things back to northeastern part. Infrastructural projects are going on. The biggest example is this Dhola Sadia bridge. A couple of days ago it was a picture challenge for you guys. So infrastructure and other things, tourism is a big thing when it comes to northeast. It has immense potential of tourism, and government is working very hard. We see advertisements as well, and nowadays there is a bit of awareness, you can say, or now people have this thing in their mind that at one point of time they would like to visit northeastern states. And many of you might have been there, many of you would be from there, and I know the beauty. I have seen the pictures. Sadly I haven't been there, but hopefully in near future maybe. So this is a very serene and beautiful place, northeastern, and you know, the power of tourism. Tourism can create good quality jobs for our youngsters, and in our country we need jobs for our youngsters, isn't it, boys and girls? So this is the story. And now new government will bring new change, and new change will bring new opportunities. So let's hope that everything is okay with our northeastern states. And he also talked about this winning and losing elections, and this is part of our life as well. Many times if we win some battles, we lose some battles, and that's how we learn from rising up and falling down. And he also praised Election Commission and security forces for doing wonderful job. Last item, just a GK thing, but keep this thing in mind when you are talking about India and Israel's relationship, or if you are talking about, say for example, Middle East or West Asia. Namaste Shalom is a magazine devoted to India-Israel relations, and the festival of Holi coincided with this Jewish festival of Purim. So remember, this Purim is a Jewish festival. You know, since ages, Jews have lived here in India, and probably India is the only country where they have not faced any sort of persecution. So this is the beauty of our country and relationship between India and Israel. Nowadays they are getting stronger and stronger, and hopefully it will reach sky, or even you can say sky will not be our limit as well. That's everything, and here I have answers for you. I have 3 questions for you. One is a history one, one is associated with constitution, and the last one is a pure science, general science question. Don't forget to check out StudyIQ.com, dear friends, and make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you have learned something out of today's discussion, please give us your like, pass your answers. Don't forget to download your PDF notes and share this lecture with your friends. Enjoy your studies. Jai Hind.